Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Build a Battle Bear Workshop. I am your favorite Dungeon Master, DM Andy, and today we're gonna build houses. Today I went to the dollar store and I picked up these cheap birdhouses. I watched Jeremy over on Black Magic Craft do this, and I'm gonna try to do it myself. I'm gonna use a multi-tool to shave down the bases and part of the roofs so I can glue all these buildings together and make one house out of them. Now remember, always use safety glasses when using power tools. This multi-tool cost me about $15, and with the blade that was sold separately, it was about 20 bucks out the door. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut this lip off the bottom of this birdhouse. I'm going to cut the tiny bird perch off, and I'm going to shave part of the roof off so that I can butt it straight up to the larger birdhouse, so it's like an extra room built onto the houses. Now, if you've never used one of these tools before, I would suggest taking scrap wood or some sort of practice piece, because it vibrates and it can be a little tricky at first, and you don't want to go straight to your birdhouses and mess them up. So here I took the larger birdhouse and I cut the lip off it. That way they'll be flush up against each other, just like that. After messing around with getting them up against each other, I went ahead and cut the lip off of all the little birdhouses all the way around. And of course, the second birdhouse, I shaved the roof again. So here I put some PVA glue on this and then a little hot glue around that. So the hot glue will set up instantly and give the PVA glue time to dry. Then over to the Proxxon hot wire foam table, I'm going to cut out bricks like I've done in some of my previous videos. They're about 10 millimeters. I'm going to go 10 millimeters and 12 millimeters wide, 10 meters tall on both bricks. And I made a few skinny pieces because when you're doing this, your rows are going to get uneven and you're going to need to fill in some gaps. You get close to your windows and your doors and things. Cut a small chimney. I'm going to put a chimney on this roof. I'm going to brick around that chimney as well. And the only thing I would try to pay attention to is I tried to make sure the chimney was even with the back wall of that middle part of the house, so that when you're looking at it from a certain angle, it's not down on the roof lip. I just used a little hot glue and secured it to the house. I left it a little longer. Later, I cut it down. I felt like it was too tall. But when you're scratch building like this, that's how it goes. Like, you get started, and then you back up, and you fix things, and you do it again. Right here, I've got this little square I like to use. It helps me give texture to my bricks. It's actually the trash square from a Wall-E action figure. Now I wanted to get my windows situated, but I wasn't sure how high they needed to be, so I went ahead and started putting a row of bricks on where a window was going to be so I could figure out exactly where I wanted it. 2 bricks was just about right, so that if you butt a mini up to the building, it's about head level for the window. Alright, once I got this situated, I wanted to work on my door. So what I did is I went back to my Proxxon hot wire foam table, and I just used a sheet of XPS foam, and I shaved a piece down really, really thin. You don't want to get it too bulky because then it'll stand off the house wrong. Well, to make sure the doors are right, I grabbed a mini and I adjusted my guardrail a little bit bigger than the mini. So it turned out to be about 40 millimeters, but worked out really, really well. I knocked out 4 door backs. And then I took a whole bunch of long, really skinny slivers of XPS foam, and I'm just going to PVA glue those to the foam so that it looks like door slats on a wooden door. I just spread the PVA around with my finger and then started sticking these on. I made sure my door slats were uneven so that when I base coat it and then paint it, there'll be some recesses that are darkened, kind of make the gaps between the boards. It makes for a faster painting job, as well as I think they look really, really nice. They're fast, easy doors, and they work out really well. So once I got those on there, I just held the door slats firmly, and I cut them with a razor knife. Now, once the doors are actually on, which this isn't in the video, but once they're on, I took little bitty jewelry rings, little circles, and I just PVA glued those to the door to look like door handles, some kind of doorknob. Just remember, when you're making your doors, you can make doors however you want. If you don't want to go through these extra steps to make the door slats, you can just cut small hunks of XPS foam and glue them together. You don't have to make the door back. You can make the door with a rounded top, just whatever you're into. I used some hot glue and I just secured it to the center of the middle part of the structure, and there you go. Nice little door. Now off camera, I put another door on the back of the house, so you got a back door in case of during a scenario you need to escape. All right, this is granny grading. I needed it for my windows. I don't have a 3D printer, so I don't have a way to make cool window frames and things like that. So I like to buy this stuff. One bag of it has got 3 or 4 sheets in it, and it's like $2 or $3. So it works out really, really well. And you can also use that stuff for all kinds of industrial terrain or even space tiles if you want to. It works for a lot of stuff. Now what I did is I turned it at a 45-degree angle because I didn't want my window screens to be straight up and down and horizontal. I wanted them to be catty corner. So just the way these granny grading works, like if you look at it, you can see the shape as you're cutting, and it's really easy to get them like you like them. I just took a little super glue, doesn't take very much, to make sure I adhere that little bitty window frame screen onto the wood right above that second row of bricks. And then I got my hot glue gun out and I started bricking around that window. Now I'm going on to the roof. Now this is a long and tedious process. I spent about an hour and a half punching out cardboard food stock. I'm going to use those as the tiles for my roof. So this part's going to take some time. If you notice, the roof isn't just bare wood anymore either. I put some cardboard food stock with a hot glue gun on that roof because the paper side of the cardboard food stock will drink up PBA glue really, really well. So it's really easy to put these on, and the glue dries a lot faster than it would with plastic or anything else you try to white glue together. This part, you just take your time, turn on some DM Andy videos, let the mind race, and just get in the groove. I took this X-Acto knife, and I would pick up a tile and stick it on the glue. And if you do it just right, those tiles will stick and come right off your knife. Then when I got to the second row, I staggered them, just like you would with brick. Again, this takes a while. You got to really, really get in the zone and have the time to do it. But if you do, you're really, really going to like these roofs. And these roof tiles are the cheapest you can make. A hole punch from your dollar store for like $1.50, and then cardboard food stock that you're going to throw out in the trash anyway. I found one of the reasons I like doing the roof tiles like this. With hot glue, if you miss and don't get them lined up right, then you got to tear it off and you're going to tear the paper and you may have to start all over. With the PBA glue, if you miss, it comes right off. You can adjust things with your finger. Works out really, really well. So, as you saw, that was the roof finished, and I feel like I was at a good spot where I was ready to go ahead and base coat these. So I just got out my airbrush and base coated the entire building black. I like to go with black, especially with some of this medieval or fantasy setting stuff, because you want it. I like for it to not have excessive amount of bright, super bright color. Anyway, I decided I wanted the roof to be red, so I got a dark red and filled up my airbrush again. Used a little Vallejo flow improver. Thinned down the craft paint and went to work on this roof. With a few tries with an airbrush, you'll get to the point where you don't need a lot of masking tape and you don't have to hide things. Anyway, let's spin these on the old turntable and get a look at them. This is the house I've built here in the video, and I've got another house coming up, and then we'll do a few glamour shots. Alright, so as you can see, I've got a second house, because this is actually a series of videos where I'm trying to build a small village. Some kind of little town for my RPG and skirmish games, and I want these houses to look like they're either old school fantasy houses or more modern houses that I can use for bolt action. Anyway, here's a few looks at it all set up on the table with a few minis and a few plants. As always, I am your favorite Dungeon Master, DM Andy. Thanks for watching. If you've stuck around this long, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.